welcome back to my channel. Jacob Payton here, and today we'll be talking about Silver Nitrate by Silvia Moreno-Garcia. She's the author of Mexican Gothic, another book I highly recommend you read. And it says, Montserrat, I'm probably pronouncing her name wrong, and I do really apologize if I am, has always been overlooked. She's a talented sound editor, but she's left out of the boys club running the film industry in 90s Mexico City, and she's all but invisible to her best friend Tristan, a charming, if faded soap opera star. Although she's been in love with him since childhood. Then Tristan discovers that his new neighbor is the Culture director, Abel Ureta, and the legendary auteur claims that he can change their lives, even if his tale of a Nazi occultist imbuing magic into highly volatile silver nitrate stock sounds like sheer fantasy. The magic film was never finished, which is why Ureta swears his career vanished overnight. He is cursed. Now the director wants Montserrat and Tristan to help him shoot the missing scene and lift the curse, but Montserrat soon notices a dark presence following her, and Tristan begins seeing the ghost of his ex-girlfriend. As they begin to unravel the mystery of the film and the obscure occultists who once roamed their city, Montserrat and Tristan may find that sorcerers and magic are not only the stuff of movies. I absolutely love this book. I think I like this book a lot more than Mexican Gothic just because of everything that was in this book. I love stories about Nazi occultism. I love stories about occultism. I especially love like Hollywood stories, anything with like Hollywood and the glamorous lifestyle. I'll just eat that right up. And once again, I love anything involving magic. I'm a huge Hellblazer fan. That was what really kept me into comics over the years, was Hellblazer. So this kind of had everything that I wanted in it. I will say that it started a little slow, but then when it gets going, it does not stop. Now the book is kind of about how Abel Ureta, the director, gets involved with a man who goes by, I think, one name, but he had some aliases or something. But anyway, he comes over from Germany during World War II and kind of worms his way into Mexico City's high society, and the high society especially that has to do with the film industry. And there he kind of gets a cult-like following, very much like a Arrogant Aleister Crowley, so to speak, because that is what he believes in. A lot of his magical sciences are based on myths of like racial purity and stuff like that. So he is also very much a Nazi. And yeah, it's really interesting because, I don't know, as someone that likes to read a lot about urban legends and the occult and stuff like that, I love it when authors just, I mean, it just feels, you can tell like she researched her stuff, and I love that in a book. I don't know why. It just, as you know, when certain philosophical stuff is like pointed out, it kind of feels like, oh, I kind of see what you did there, because this other crazy guy was saying stuff like that in the 50s, and that became popularized by this and that. And I don't know, I just really love that as someone who kind of geeks out about you know, folklore and the occult and stuff like that. I just absolutely love it. And yeah, this book 100% did it to me. Like I said, it does start a little slow, but then when the magic and the ghosts start popping up, it just does not stop. Like I said, I enjoyed this book a lot more than I think Mexican Gothic, which I absolutely loved. I like the fact that the magic system was kind of clearly explained. Right, we know that it has rules and how it works. People aren't just running around throwing fireballs out of their hands. It's a very like subtle magic system until it isn't, because then when the juice is out there and everyone starts getting very powerful all at once because of what they unleashed on film, I mean, it just gets crazy. I don't want to spoil too much. There are a bunch of twists in this book, but let's just say that once again, we have learned that playing with black magic and silver nitrate film or doing anything like that does not end well for any of those involved, especially if it happens in a horror novel. I also really just love the idea of a cursed film. There are a couple other books. I don't remember the titles right now. I think Brian Smith wrote one that was kind of obviously not similar, but also kind of had the vibe of a cursed film. I think maybe that was Unseen. which gets a little cosmic horror-y, which I also really enjoyed. I need to do a review of it sometime. But there are, you know, myths and stories about cursed films. A lot of these, you know, films that disappeared in studio fires, whether it was for insurance purposes or, you know, accidents that happened to actors and actresses after working on specific films or during specific films. And I've just always really enjoyed that, right? Like I said, I already said, you know, I was into folklore and stuff like that. I love reading about that stuff. So anytime the word curse gets thrown around, I mean, I'm there. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I also really liked how messy the duo was in this, right? Our heroes aren't perfect at all. They have a really weird codependent relationship. And it's funny because it reminded me a lot of, you know, How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. Obviously, they're not brother and sister in this, but the dynamic of the siblings in How to Sell a Haunted House is very similar to this. A lot less angry and antagonistic, but you can kind of, it's always great when you see the other character's perspective and they think they're in the right or they've done the right thing. And that just feels very believable, because I feel like most people, when they get in a disagreement with someone they care about, they tend to come away thinking, you know, it's just human nature, right? We tend to think that we did the right thing. So I love it when characters read like that as well. It just makes the situations, even when you're dealing with like magic and ghosts and stuff like that, I think a little more believable, and just kind of really keeps you in the story. And I really enjoyed that. I love that. It was one of my favorite parts of How to Sell a Haunted House. The interactions between the siblings was just like fascinating and spot on. And even the sibling that thought she had everything together really kind of didn't. And that, you know, that's kind of what happens here too, in a less extreme way. Yeah, if you're on the fence about reading this for any reason, don't go ahead and read it, especially this time of year. As I do this video, this is October. I mean, this is a perfect time of year to read a book about a cursed film. I enjoyed this a lot. Also, if you haven't read Mexican Gothic and that's something else you've been putting off reading, I would say, you know, crack that book open too. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, if you like Nazi occultism or cursed films, or I don't know, Hollywood ghost stories, you know, check this book out. It's really interesting and I liked it a lot. And as always, if you've read this book, you liked it, you didn't like it, let me know about it in the comments below. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.